Good evening, wool gatherers, and welcome to episode 175 of Wanderings and Wool Gathering. On tonight's episode, we will stump Mr. Mundy in the challenge inspired by Lester Bangs. We are going to reband Dark Side of the Moon from Pink Floyd. We're going to find out who we all think could remake this record today, re-record it. And then we're going to, really excited about this, actually. Friends of the show, Jack the Radio, they have a new record out called Under Lonely Light, and we are going to review that tonight. It was released Friday, so it's only been out a couple of days. I think we've all listened quite a few times, so I think we got a pretty good feel for this one. So stick around and find out what we thought about that record. If you like what you see and hear tonight, subscribe, leave a comment, and feel free to share it with your friends. And as usual, I don't do it alone. Joining me is Metalhead Mundy.
Step inside into his mind. It's boy band time. It's
Metalhead Mundy.
Yay.
Here we are.
There he is. You know who's dropping in tonight?
I have a sinking suspicion.
A sinking or dropping a... From Liptonia. Here he comes. It's T-Bags.
Swinging deep into the valleys of Liptonia.
That's nasty.
Able to plunge from high altitudes only to land with a gentle splat.
That's nasty.
Receiving only the finest education from his instructor, Earl Grey. It's T-Bags. Too hot for TV.
Too hot. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. Just got done with a session with Earl Grey, so
how is Earl?
Podcast. Yeah.
For the people out there, what's Earl like?
It's like James Earl Jones mixed a little bit with like Jackie Chan.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And he's British.
Guy. Yes.
What a combo.
Right?
Welcome, gentlemen, to 175. Another milestone.
Yes. That's awesome.
We're on the doorstep of 200.
We'll get there.
And then at 200, we're going to look back and talk about our favorite moments.
Oh, boy.
It's going to take a month to go back through all those episodes. So, all right. Well, we do have a lot to do tonight. But as usual, we're going to try to stump Metalhead. I think that's always fun.
Good luck.
It's rare that we do. But
right.
I'll tell you about this site that I came upon to get this and what the people at this site have noticed about a particular group of people who, used to review records.
Okay.
So, are you ready?
Sure.
I'll cut it in half. I'll give you the big part, and then I'll finish it because it's the ending is kind of shocking. So, All right. So, clearly this person is not a huge fan of the record because this paragraph starts with, what's the problem? For starters, the sax that warmed these other albums has been replaced by a succession of guitar solos. Thin, brittle, and sorry substitute indeed. The singing is more wooden than ever. The sound is more complex, but it lacks real depth. Any idea to start?
So they used to have sax featured prominently, but no longer. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not really bringing anything to mind right away.
No.
Okay. Well,
I have no guesses.
All right. So the extraordinary success of this other record culminated almost a decade of ever-expanding cult appeal and gave the band an audience that must have seemed as boundless as space itself. The temptation to follow through with prefab notions of what that audience would like, warmed over, spaced-out heavy metal in this case, was apparently too strong to resist. Spaced-out heavy metal.
So, yeah, they went. That makes it sound like they went heavier. But wow, I
Spaced
mean,
out.
saxophone to spaced out heavy metal. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I mean, this, yeah. So this is the last part. Of course, space doesn't offer any kind of real escape, and this band knows that. But spacing out is supposed to. Spacing out has always been the idea behind space rock anyway. This album is their attempt to deal with the realization that spacing out isn't the answer either. There's no exit. You get high, you come down again. That's what this band has done with a thud.
Huh. Wow. Space rock. I guess I don't even really know what that means.
I know. I'm trying to think
Kinda-
if it's like literal, if there's like themes of space, or if it's
Yeah.
No,
like
no.
a dubbed genre.
Nope.
No?
Yeah, he's dubbed at this. I mean,
Okay.
I've never heard this term used to describe them. I can get it a little bit based on a particular album's title, but I wouldn't really call it this. But
And then they went heavy metal.
no, not really. I don't know why he even says that. That's why this is so perplexing. This whole review that was written.
I
Is
think
this
that's a good
album-
word for it.
What, perplexing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is this particular album that we're reviewing? Would you say it's a classic among most people?
Yes,
Okay.
considered by many to be their best,
Oh wow.
including you, Tony.
What?
Including you, my friend.
I
Really?
mean, it's got to be
Yep.
Pink Floyd.
Well, Pink Floyd have sax a little bit, but I wouldn't consider them going hard rock, heavy metal.
No, that's why I'm saying this is
Oh,
this review is so wonky. The site that I found was all about these horrible reviews of groups that Rolling Stone did, and then how they would pick up other ones and talk about how great like J-Lo is, or but crap on great music.
okay.
And it was not Lester Bangs who wrote this, by the way.
No, he's got more class than that.
He way more class than this bozo. But
So
yeah,
are
you
they-
know,
Are they talking about Dark Side?
no. So Dark Side does have some sax. So it was talking about that. And then it was talking about the extraordinary success of their past record, like the success of Dark Side.
Okay.
What's your favorite Pink Floyd record, Tony?
Animals. What's
Yep.
the name? Yeah.
That's it. That's what it was talking about.
Really?
It landed with a thud. And space rock.
Yeah. That's really weird because it's such a
Industrialist. kind of-
rooted in like society themes. Yeah.
I know.
That's
Absolutely.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. If I can find that site again, I think it might have. I think I got to it from a Reddit group.
Gosh.
But if there's other ones like this, it's like, wow, what are they? They trying to get reads from just being negative?
I know. That's the same guy that tells you not to buy Apple stock.
Oh Lord. Anyway, that's
Well,
that.
that's interesting. Okay. You stumped us.
Yeah, when I saw that, I started reading. I was like, what in the world are they talking about? So, okay. I'm glad you guys feel the same I do.
Yes.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, that's really strange. But anyway, T-Bags, you
What's
had the challenge this week.
Yes. So challenge was ReBanding, our newest kind of segment where we take an album and reimagine it as having someone else either recreate it or reimagine it, right? So
Mhm.
Or re-record it, yeah.
yeah, and they could be living or dead, obviously. So this week we did, or I picked Dark Side of the Moon, obviously kind of considered wildly one of the most perfect albums by people that are fans, and it's got a lot of different changes to it, and so I thought that would be interesting to see how that could be accomplished by other people. What you guys thought about that? So as the challenger, I will go last, so you guys can decide who goes first.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah.
Well, as
Just
I
follow
told you
the rules,
earlier,
Lawrence.
I thought this was such a challenging record just in the fact that every other song is like an instrumental interlude almost, so it's
Mhm.
kind of interesting to pick. But before any of us give our choices, let's go ahead and give the ones that were listed on Facebook when I posted this earlier today.
Yep.
Okay.
We did have some people post bands that they thought would do a good job with this. Marianne said Nothing But Thieves because she thought that Connor Mason's voice could do wonders with a few of the songs.
Oh, yeah. I love his voice.
Sistine, this one I don't know where she came up with, but she said Cranberries.
I saw that and I was like, huh, okay.
I'd love to hear the reason. So, Sistine, if you are watching right now, I'd love to hear the reason for Cranberries. Kevin Raiden Rodabaugh, who is the drummer for Jack the Radio, he said Flaming Lips would be an interesting choice. So, yeah. And Lacey, the Munster, said Tame Impala. I've never heard them.
She said, yeah, I'm not too familiar with them. I've got some family members that really like them, but she said that might be a little too on the nose because they would kind of give the same vibe, but she thought they could probably do a good job with it.
Yeah, they would definitely handle it well. I don't know. I think I feel like they're they could do it as is, or they could like really reimagine it. They seem creative enough to maybe have some different choices. So
yeah.
Anyway,
we had another one. This just in from Handy Coils. It's change those letters around and you'll find a name in there. He has chosen REM, and his favorite record, or one of his favorites, is Automatic for the People, and he thinks that they would do an amazing job. I think old Michael Stipe would be brilliant on this. I think his voice, a lot of people have talked about recently, his voice is very gruff. It's really changed over time, so I don't know how he would handle it now, but that would definitely be an interesting choice back in their prime for sure.
Yes. Man.
Yeah.
I wish I could hear some of these.
Yeah. Let's just call them and ask them to record these.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure they would.
Yeah.
Okay. Monday, you want to go or you want me to go?
I can.
All right.
This one was hard for me. I'm not the biggest Pink Floyd fan in the world, but I think, I don't know. I so far, the two that we've done, I've tried to approach them with something that would sound cool, but very different. So I kind of landed here. I'm interested to see what you guys said about this. I kind of want to hear like late 80s era Ministry.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so much lush instrumentation on Dark Side of the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be kind of cool to see that reinterpreted with the industrial spin, especially from that era, like, Land of Rape and Honey, Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste era Ministry. So see what they could come up like. They're, the drums from that era are either there's some programming, but there's also some live drums, but the way they're mic'd and manipulated, they sound real kind of stiff and machine-like. And then, of course, you've got like heavily distorted guitars, and just I think Al's voice. He's not like a true singer, I guess. He kind of had that industrial kind of, not really monotone, but kind of fit like that. When I think of this era of industrial music, the vocalists are all kind of in a certain range.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I would love to hear that.
Yeah.
I would love to hear Ministry do Animals, because that's more in his wheelhouse thematically. because
Right.
this record isn't nearly as much. Roger didn't have as much in the writing on this one as he did the later ones, where he went all in on the industrialists and people who were, abusing the system and taking advantage of people and all that kind of stuff. But this one was more of that kind of coming of age, growing up, and all that sort of thing. So Animals would be killer. So if we do this again, I'm taking that for Animals Monday. You don't get it.
Okay.
I think obviously I agree they would be great thematically. Animals would fit their wheelhouse, but I also would be very interested because there is this underlying theme of going mad in Dark Side, which I think Ministry can pull out pretty easily.
Oh, he's mad, all right.
Yeah. So
I would like to address the comment that is on the screen. The Roger Waters saying that the only good cover he's heard is Korn. I love their cover of Another Brick in the Wall. I really do. It is so good.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I think that's good as well. But I don't want to see Korn do Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah,
I don't need that.
I'm really surprised that Roger actually gave a compliment to anyone.
Exactly. Yeah. He must have been drinking.
Or he just felt really good that day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love Roger. Like... He's an old curmudgeon these days. So.
He is. The thing that's such a shame about that group is an amazing group of musicians who wrote beautiful music but couldn't get along to have any sort of longevity, which just sucks. But
I agree.
Is what it is. All right.
Stevie D, you're up.
My choice will surprise you, and it will probably surprise my daughter as well. But I thought an interesting choice for this would be the 1975. And the reason being, I feel like Matty Healy is very talented and can pull off about any style. He has written songs questioning authority and those kind of things. So kind of in the wheelhouse as well. He's very theatrical in their performance. And then the key is they have an amazing band. So we saw them live, and that's where I really first took notice of how good the band actually is. And their saxophonist is incredible. And so he would just be, it's right in his wheelhouse. It would fit nicely. And I think the 1975 actually would do a bang up job on this.
I agree with that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Two different angles there for sure. 1975 and Ministry.
That is Tony going to meet us in the middle.
Yes. No, that's cool. And I love the 1975. The one thing I really love about
Tony Freeze.
Yes.
T-Bags.
Oh, no.
Drop in, T-Bags. Let's go. Oh, Tony, you completely froze.
Okay. Well, you missed my choice then. Sorry.
All right, everybody. It was 9 Inch Nails. Here we go.
Yes.
No, we had. By the way, before you give your choice, we have to have a rule that through the course of doing this, I can only use Smashing Pumpkins or Rush once. You can only use 9 Inch Nails or Tool once. Like we can't ever pull those out. I'm going to try never to use them.
That's fair.
If I can, but it'd be the easiest way to,
I had a very fleeting thought about using 9 Inch Nails because I thought that might be interesting too. But I wanted more of the with the lush sound. I kind of wanted the contrast of that, more of a contrast with that, with like kind of the stiffer 80s industrial stuff.
Yeah,
I think 9 Inch Nails can pull it off too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Trent was heavily influenced by Pink Floyd.
Right.
So that'd be interesting. But yeah, I will keep those as like my one and only cards every once in a while to use. But believe it or not, neither of them made this. Although if I had to choose between the two, I think Tool might be an interesting one to do it. But so this, I'll make this quick, but this backstory of how this challenge came about is I listened to a podcast called The Rewatchables, and they have a segment where they do like recasting, and it's really interesting. The one that really got me was like, who would you cast in Christmas Vacation other than Chevy Chase? you know, and that's like, holy crap, never thought about that. So I kind of approached this more in like all of these players in the band are actors and who would I replace them with. And then I gave myself some parameters, like they have to be able to pull off, you know, having that mindset of being experimental. They have to have, you know, good musicianship. If they're guitarists, they have to be able to sing. So kind of trying to match that up. So I didn't really pick a band. I just put a band together. So that's my loophole. But
always
we're setting rules as we go. So
fine.
Anyway, so but this is you know, as Pink Floyd is, you know, with Roger on bass and singing and David on guitar and singing, like this is one of those albums where it really matters because they split it up so evenly on this. So I thought John Wetton from King Crimson for the bass and singing, replacing Roger. I thought Jack White for David Gilmour.
That'd be
and
interesting.
then piano takes a really big place in this too. You know, there's that's one thing I really love about this album is there's all of these instruments have to come together, and so I thought Ray Manzarek, you know, would be able to pull something like that off.
Interesting.
This is quite a crew.
And then, I don't know how much you have to pay him, but yeah. And then
Ray's desperate for work.
being able to come in on drums on things like Time, where it kind of matters to be, you know, hitting hard in certain places, and then being able to pull back on drums, having slower songs and some experience with that. John Bonham, I thought was a great drummer for that. And then the cameo appearance is Claire Torrey is the woman who did The Great Gig in the Sky. So she's the vocalist that just kind of does that, you know, whatever it's called. And I thought Pink Floyd right now, when they tour, they bring out two vocalists for that, even though that was done by one person. So if I had to replace that one person with two people, I think Ella Fitzgerald from the past could totally pull that off. And there's a tone to Ella Fitzgerald already in there. And then Billie Eilish, I think, is experimental and has incredible range. So I think they could pull off The Great Gig in the Sky. And that's my superstar band.
So, Tony, not only have you broken the rules, but you're picking dead people as well. What is going on?
Yeah.
No, well, the whole point is they should be able to redo it today.
Have you not seen what's possible with AI these days? Come on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, we really never set the rules, to be fair.
I don't the alive or dead thing. I don't bump up against that. I don't care.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm going to get to somebody that you know, same thing. But
yeah,
the super group thing I didn't even think of. So
well, we can veto it now. But that was last time we did Tori Amos, so it was like picking another person, and that was easier. But we haven't never done a band yet.
I think I'm good with doing the super band if you need to do that, but I think it should be able to be done today. No dead musicians.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Let's stipulate it. Let's go. Make it harder.
Well, that rules out 3/4 of my band. So stay tuned on Facebook for my replacement. Line.
No, we're gonna let this one slide because we expect you to cheat. So it's just kind of par for the course.
Well, you could switch out John Bonham for Jason Bonham, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
The others, I don't know yet.
Yeah. Piano's a hard one these days.
All right. Well, that was cool. So we will be rebanding again next week because that was fun. I just haven't picked the record yet, so I will let you know what that's going to be. But I am going to let you know sooner than the day before, so we have some time. And I'll put it out on Twitter and Facebook as well and try to get some other people to join in.
Jeremy, that was like
very
a
good
shot at me. So just so you know.
I wasn't going to say anything.
It was a direct shot at you, Tony.
It's easy to hit that low-hanging fruit.
Exactly. That's what T-Bags are for.
What's funny is I came up with it immediately, so it didn't even bother me that it was late. But I would like to get it out earlier if we can. So that is all.
Okay.
All right, Mundy, introduce us to our record.
Okay. And we talked about a couple days ago when we did our little show, our friends in Jack the Radio have a brand new album that came out a couple days ago called Under Lonely Light. And, they had put out some songs over the last, I don't know, 9-10 months. They've been putting out a few songs here and there for a while, and then they've had a few more, and they put them all on this record, and we got a brand new Jack the Radio record with 10 songs.
Awesome.
So we're going to talk about it.
Indeed.
Yes,
Tony, I'm going to let you start off because I have an answer that I'm putting in here so you can see it about why the Cranberries. Interesting choice as well. So,
Okay.
I'll let you start off with Jack.
Okay, that sounds good. First of all, let me just say I love the title of the album. So, I used to buy CDs based off that sometimes. If I didn't know what to buy, I just look for a great title. So, but what overall, one thing that I really, really enjoyed with this album is that it was guitar driven. I mean, everybody, pulls their weight, but there was some fantastic grooves and tones. And for me, a lot of times, I get kind of caught up with the singer and the lyrics and things like that. So everything was great anyway, but to have that stand out was just kind of refreshing for me. And that kind of lasted, throughout the album. And then my favorite track was Tell Everyone Around. That just, I listened to the album several times, and then that one kind of got thrown into my rotation playlist. So I got other notes, but that's my general kickoff for it. So what about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the guitar driven stuff. I think they came up with some good stuff on this one as far as that goes. As far as George's vocals go, one thing I wanted to say about him is I honestly don't think he's the best singer in the world. But I think that's part of the charm to him. He has a very warm kind of timbre to his voice, I guess. But it with their music, it works so well.
Right.
Like I don't listen to them and think, oh God, man, he's just the best singer in the world. But man, does it work so well. And when they pair the backing vocals and the harmonies and everything with him, it's just out of this world. And they've got two great backing singers in Kevin and Danny, and man, they especially the backing singers and the harmony parts and all of that. Danny and Kevin, I think, knocked it out of the park on this record. But Tell Everyone Around, I agree, that was one of my highlights. I really love the what's the name of it, Walk All Over Me, which has been out for a while, but I just love that song. That Walk All Over Me, honestly, for me, it's almost a perfect song. It's so good. I really love the bridge on that one. When it changes at the end and kind of gets a little softer, and then it kind of builds to that abrupt ending. So cool. The lyrics and again, the backing vocals on that one are fantastic. There was one other one that I really wanted to talk about that it looks like I did not mark. Roads Paved in Gold, the closing track. It was another one for me. And I mean, it's just kind of a country rocker that's just out of this world. I really, really am drawn to those last two songs. And Tell Everyone Around, I think the riff and the tone on that guitar is very cool. Which, Jack the Radio, I think they have kind of a pocket they sit in sometimes. So when they kind of rock out a little more, I think it stands out a lot, and they're great at it. I don't think they do it Tell Everyone Around. Actually, my wife said it had kind of an Arctic Monkeys feel, and I can see that a little bit. I think mostly that has to do with that guitar tone and probably the solo and stuff, which the solo is great. I love the organ and the drums on that song. So
yeah, Steve, I don't want to interrupt you, so I'll let you go here in just 1 second. But it's funny because my notes are exactly Tell Everyone Around, Walk All Over Me, and Road Paved in Gold. Those are my three.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'll say about Road Paved in Gold is I was honestly expecting, like, just by the title and being an ending track, for it to be like a slower ballad and kind of a wind down.
Right.
And even in there, they say something about like you're not slowing down, and that's what they did. They ended with a bang. So
there's a couple others I wanted to mention too, but Fast Fun, they just put a video out for that, so check that out if you like it. That's kind of a perfect summer song, and I think the video kind of reflects that. And I don't know how to describe that other than just listen to it, watch the video. It's just kind of a perfect summer playlist song, I think.
I haven't seen the video, but the vibes give off that like nostalgic feel.
And Warbirds, the song after that on the album, Warbirds, I think has kind of a really cool Tom Petty vibe. It really does. I think, and the subtle harmony vocals, and this one I think was Kevin, for sure. But the harmony vocals, they're kind of understated, but if you can hear it and it just works. These guys sound so good back in George Up, but and Warbirds also had some really cool solos on it.
Yes, Steve. One more time, I'm interrupting you. I'm going to take my camera. Let's see if it focuses here. Tom Petty. So I feel like I've been hacked. But
I swear we didn't talk before that.
I know. Yeah.
Monday is not technologically savvy enough to hack you.
No, that's true. That's so true.
Yeah. Go ahead, Stevie. What was your take on this?
Ditto. No, those actually weren't the songs I picked, though, which is kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to pick up on something that you said, though, Monday. So I think I even said it to you earlier, Tony. Like, this record for me is like driving around in the summer in the country with the windows down listening. That's where it's kind of like a warm, friendly vibe going on. But I agree with you. I think sometimes it sits in that pocket a little too much. And when it breaks out, it stands out. And they would do that more. But what they do, they're very good at. And I think that I love their previous records, but I think they've upped their game a little bit in their musicianship. There's a little bit more variety. I don't know if they're more cohesive or what, but there's something that just feels a little more professional or a little bit more advanced.
There is so many along that line. There's so many in every song, just little details that are, and I mean, it could be like a couple of notes on the guitar in the background, or so like a weird little fill that Kevin does on the drums, or I mean, there's just so many little details in every song, just so good.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that the album opener, I thought was a great opener.
Absolutely.
Save Me From Myself. I love the snappy little drum beat there. That was one of my favorite drum beats from the record. I love the song Evergreens. It's super catchy. There's a little recurring high note on the guitar that they hit a lot, and that kind of reminded me of U2 a little bit. Like there was a little edge vibe.
Yes, when that song specifically, they use there's like it's more than a couple of notes. It's like it's kind of a riff that goes through the whole song, and it's what they're doing is I believe it's called pinch harmonics. I'm not a guitar player. I know it's harmonics, but I think it is a pinch harmonic, and it's that high pitched kind of squealy thing. And I figured when I first heard that song, they're just kind of going to do it on the intro, but it went through the whole song, and it really kind of I don't know, pulled everything together, I think.
Yeah, I love that. Was one of my favorites. Fast Fun. That's the one that had probably the most recognizable bass groove,
Yes.
which I was really drawn to that. And of course, another catchy chorus. It's just a fun song. I loved Warbirds.
Yep.
And the last one, Roads Paved in Gold. The thing I liked about it, it was very different from the opener, which had that snappy drum beat. This was more of a hard driving drum beat, and
Yeah.
I think it closed the record out pretty well. So as far as our album opener closer, I think they nailed it, and it's just a solid record all the way through.
Yeah.
It really is. And then you guys have all, you've mentioned like little things with the guitar, and Jeremy has talked about a couple of things that, that stood out from the background. And that's also another testament to their production. Whoever is doing the mixing and mastering and putting the stuff out, it's the sound quality of it all just sounded great to me.
George does all that, doesn't he?
I don't know if they're self-produced. I don't think so. I think they work with someone, but yeah, I'm not 100% on that.
We'll just have to ask him.
Kudos to whoever is doing it. It was a great listen to have in your headphones,
Yes, the production and the mix is pretty spot on. There's not too. I can't think of anything off the top of my head where I'm like, they might have tweaked that a little bit.
Right. No.
Yeah. There is one glaring error on this record. Something that would make it. Yeah, I know. And it is a comic book that has a story for each song. Would make this perfect. Let's go. Creatures 2.0. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
That was a cool adventure.
It was one of the coolest things to read the little stories as you listen to the songs.
Yeah.
It was really a neat thing. And it was, it had good artists and it was spot on. I loved it.
That review that we wrote of that was super fun. So, and if anybody wants to find that, I'm sure it should be on the Wanderings website, I assume. Still, no, maybe not.
I can check. It's been overhauled in time, but I will look.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to find that, track it down, and throw it up somewhere.
I'm sure it's there. I will find it, and I will post that for you. Let's see. Continue talking while I look.
That was super fun, though, to go through. We kind of split up the songs and went through the comic and the song and kind of reviewed them together and compared and contrasted them. It was fun. A lot of fun.
I was on the outside looking in on that one, but I appreciated the artistic adventure that, the undertaking that had to be to go that route.
Yeah, that was literally, Tony, I don't know if you know, that's literally how we found the band. Was that I went into the comic shop on a Wednesday and, Sean, the proprietor, was like, hey, this looks like something you would enjoy. And I was like, what is this? So I took it and I was like, oh, this is a band? Well, this is cool. I'll check them out. And I was like, oh my God, these guys are great. So,
well, another mark for Sean, knowing you guys so well.
Yeah. Well, I just put it on the screen. I will post it again later. Since we mentioned it, I'll put it in the notes on Spotify as well. So, but there it is. And it is still live and active and ready to go. And I think we have some videos attached and everything. So
cool.
All right. Good times. All right. So you want to go ahead and rate this thing?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would easily, I would go 4.75 out of 5 for sure.
Yeah. Will you listen again?
Many, many times, I'm sure, as I already have.
T-Bags.
Yeah. I'd go 4.5. And I guess I'd listen again, and especially to some of those tracks that I said I pulled out. Like my daily work life requires headphones and listening to music, so I'm pretty picky about my playlist. But I've thrown some stuff in there, so not only will I listen again, but there's going to be several tracks that get some daily plays.
Very good. I'm going to go 4 out of 5 because I want them to reach out and go a little crazy. Sometimes I think that would be fun. Yeah, I think so. Because when they did, it was freaking brilliant. So let's see what they could do. But anyway, 4 out of 5. I will listen again. and opener closers both great.
Yes.
Yep.
Agreed.
For sure.
All right. Anything else, gentlemen, before we break out of here?
I can't
Nothing
think
for
of
me.
anything really. I don't think there were any. I didn't see any huge news stories we need to talk about.
No, and
No.
off air, Steve and I were talking. There's stuff being released, but it's just not the same. It's really hard to
Oh.
find something.
That reminds me. Do you guys remember the band Kitty?
Nope.
They're like an all-girl metal band. Kind of had a little bit of the new metal sound, but they're just an all-girl metal band. They were very young, that hit in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, the record
All right.
just came out.
Yes, and it is awesome.
Is it?
I was never a huge fan of theirs, but they've been putting out videos for the last few months, and I've loved everything I've heard so far. And I was like, holy crap. 25 years later, they're making awesome music.
Okay.
But I think it's two sisters that are the only original members left. The other two are different, but it's an all-female metal band, and their new stuff what I have heard has been fantastic. Very impressed.
I honestly
All right,
thought you were going to say they're an all feline band there for a second.
They might be. You don't know. You didn't
Yeah,
ask.
that's true.
All right. Well, I guess next week we're going to do Kitty, and we're going to reband whatever I tell you we're going to reband, and no tricks, Tony. You got me?
Hey, we'll see.
I can't wait to find out how he cheats again. It's kind of the fun. So, but anyway,
It's going to
So
be all dead people.
Exactly.
So next Sunday, Kitty, rebanding, maybe Fool Monday, who knows? But until then, we're going to leave you with a little Juno 19. Bye now.